The Nintendo Switch, the fastest selling console of this generation, and that's no surprise. The Switch is fantastic. Console grade gaming on the go, not using a mobile phone. You get a full controller experience in the form of the Joy-Cons, which may not be the best controller experience, but they certainly feel much better than playing on a touchscreen. The tactile feedback physical buttons give go a long way to make the experience of playing video games much more fun, and this is why I, like many, love my Switch.
Makes this possibly the best portable console ever.
Being able to take my console anywhere and play games is something I used to dream of, and now it's a reality. I have one of the best Battle Royale games ever created. Endless amounts of Mario Maker levels, essentially Overwatch, and so many more titles, indie and AAA, multiplayer and single player, pretty bad and awesome. But this video hasn't been made to praise the console. Instead, we're here to discuss the untapped potential of the Nintendo Switch. The Switch is a hybrid console. You can play it like a normal gaming console, or you can undock it and play it in handheld mode. Not necessarily on the go, but out of the dock. When I do play it on the go, I'll usually hotspot my Switch to my phone so I can access multiplayer titles like Tetris 99, Mario Kart, and more. I know I don't speak for everyone, but this video is more designed on what I feel the Switch is missing and what the Switch could benefit from in terms of gaming and entertainment. We are almost halfway through the life cycle of a gaming console with the Switch, and I feel there's so much left to be done with it. 3 years in, and still no media apps, no Plex, or even Netflix. This may not be the fault of Nintendo. Netflix might not just want to target the Switch, but I do feel the console would benefit of having a couple of media apps in the ecosystem. However, I do understand the lack of media apps on the console, and for you to understand too, we need to go back to the dark ages of Nintendo. The Wii U. What was the Wii U? Well, it was the successor to the Wii, of course, Nintendo's gaming console. Or was it a gaming console? The Wii was very popular amongst casual audiences, absolutely dominating the 7th generation of consoles. With the Wii U, Nintendo wanted to capitalize on the same casual market whilst integrating media box functionality and appealing to hardcore Nintendo fans too. This caused the identity of the console to be misinterpreted by both parties, leading to very few sales. Casual gamers saw a console designed to play Zombie U, not Wii Sports, and Nintendo fans saw Wii in front of the U and presumed it was another casual console, another media box. These factors mixed in with a much heftier price tag set this console up for failure. Plus, the Wii U had so many useless features. For some reason, it had a stock app. Which businessman is using their Wii U gamepad to check stocks? This is the most probable reason why Nintendo won't try and push companies like Netflix to create an app. The Switch is a gaming console first, and I respect that. Nintendo doesn't want you to think that this is a generic Android tablet with physical controls. The form factors are already very similar. This console is designed for gamers who want to play Nintendo titles first, not watch Netflix or check stocks. And even then, I probably wouldn't watch Netflix on the Switch, because I too bought the console to play Nintendo games first. I don't even use the YouTube app on the console either, so that further justifies the lack of Netflix. However, Nintendo, I need to ask, how is a console in 2020 still lacking something as primitive as a browser? I can't help but feel a browser would really suit the Switch. Imagine being on a website that lists Mario Maker levels for you to play, and you could just click the level code and Mario Maker opened to the level that you wanted to play. The seamless integration between the browser and the video games could be endless. Instead of writing down the level code and typing it in manually, with just a click of a button, you'd be in the game. This means you'd spend less time browsing and more time playing games, and surely Nintendo wants that on their gaming console. Obviously, this sort of integration wouldn't likely be a reality, but I just can't help feeling the Switch is missing a key console feature with the lack of a browser. It'd be much easier to open the browser on a device that I'm already using and Google a review for a Switch game, or even clicking the title on the store page automatically Google reviews on the game, so you can read up and see if the game is worth your time and money. The browser doesn't need to be this advanced, anything would be better than nothing. Why would I want to take out another device to do something so simple? I already hotspot my Switch when I'm outside, so I'm already connected to the internet. This just adds another step. Some people argue that Nintendo won't add a browser because it gives children access to material with adult themes. But the Switch eShop itself has content with these exact themes, so in my eyes this point is already redundant. There are M-rated titles such as Bayonetta 2 on the eShop, which was published by Nintendo themselves. The most likely reason Nintendo won't release a browser for the Switch is due to exploitation. People could exploit the Switch using the browser to run unsigned code which allows for homebrew content, and Nintendo doesn't want that. This is the very same way the Wii U was exploited for homebrew use, the browser. No browser, the harder it appears to exploit the Switch. Although I'm certain exploiters would find a workaround, because it's in their nature. The Switch allows you to game on the go if you want. My mobile phone, a pocketable device, already does that. Mobile devices have some great titles that I like to play. Call of Duty Mobile is one of them. What if we took the Switch and mobile games and combined them? What if developers like Activision, who published Call of Duty Mobile to both the Google Play Store and the App Store, also published the title to the eShop? This again isn't a fault on Nintendo's part, I just can't understand why developers would waste such a big user base. These games are already free to play and wouldn't necessarily need the player to have a Nintendo Online membership. Fortnite already bypasses this. The Switch hardware isn't foreign either, sporting architecture very similar to the ones we find in modern smartphones. Whilst the hardware isn't as powerful as today's smartphones, the similar architectures mixed in with the crazy amounts of optimization you can do for Switch games means that porting a mobile game like Call of Duty can't really be that difficult. The Switch already runs pretty heavy titles such as The Witcher. Call of Duty Mobile should be nothing for the system. Mobile gaming has become much bigger since PUBG released on smartphones 2 years ago. Companies like Asus and Razer have entered the scene to create gaming-oriented devices with high refresh rate screens, crazy specs and innovative controls like the air triggers to alleviate the bottleneck some feel with touchscreens. The problem with these devices is that they cost crazy amounts of money. You could get a pretty competent gaming PC with the amount of cash you're spending on one of these phones, so the chances are most players are playing on a medium spec device which may not give the best experience. The game may run choppy, giving those who have a high frame rate a clear advantage, so let's imagine that instead the player could actually play the game with a smoother frame rate on the Switch. Surely they'd be more inclined to purchase the Battle Pass if the experience was much better, and ultimately this is what Activision cares about, making money. But the Switch wouldn't only make Activision more money, it'd make the game much more enjoyable for players. Playing with physical controls on an even playing field hardware-wise with a decent frame rate sounds like a win to me. Think about the abundance of hardware variations in the Android marketplace. Activision can't really make the game run excellent on devices that just aren't powerful enough. Phones don't just worry about gaming, they text, fetch notifications, do social media and so much more. The Switch just games. The lightweight operating system would allow Activision to squeeze every last drop of performance out of the console. For some of this to be a reality, Nintendo must upgrade their online gaming services. I don't play titles like Smash or Mario Kart Online. The only interaction I've had with Nintendo Online servers is with Tetris 99, which for the most part has been fantastic. However, I've seen countless people complain about the state of Nintendo's online service. For something we need to pay for, it's leagues behind the competition from Xbox and PlayStation. This needs to be fixed before developers will even begin to think about porting their mobile counterparts of a video game franchise over to the Switch. The bad servers give the illusion that the game just wouldn't fit on the platform, because how is a game that's multiplayer focused supposed to function on a device with terrible online services? Nintendo, Activision, they don't need to listen to me at all. In fact, they probably won't. I'm just a guy on the internet. Nintendo's first party IPs are what sell the Switch. I bought the console for just Mario Maker and ended up buying Mario Kart, Smash, and when they remaster Galaxy, Galaxy 2 and Mario 64, I'll buy those too. But I can't help but feel the console is still missing so much when it comes to gaming and entertainment. With that said, it's just my opinion. Do you agree with some of the points I made in this video? Is there something that I didn't discuss that you want from the Switch? Let me know in the comments, let's have a discussion. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed, please like and perhaps check out some of the other videos I've made for this channel. If you like what you see, please subscribe to have my future videos appear in your subscriptions.